Well, it's evident the Brewers are going to rely on their pitching staff because we've come this far and the offense just too inconsistent. They dropped 2 of 3 to the Marlins over the weekend. Not the best, but I'm encouraged because Devin Williams is back and he was heating it up. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everybody. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Make us your first listen every morning. Whether you bookmark us or you find us on YouTube, you subscribe. We'll tell you all about that a little bit later on in the show. But, man, make us our first step. I know a lot of you guys do, but please, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, man. You guys made us the number one podcast on the internet for a reason. Because you guys, great Brewer fans, loyal. You know that the great Brewer content and the commentaries coming here each and every day on Locked On Brewers. Longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, Chuck Freeman, and proud host of Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. This show is brought to you by SupplyHouse.com, a reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get free shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. All right. The Brewers have dropped the last 3 home series now. They drop it to inferior teams. Dropped 2 or 3 to Miami. Before the All-Star break, dropped 2 or 3 to Washington. And dropped 2 or 3 to the Pirates. Okay? All teams the Brewers are clearly better than. At home, in front of great crowds at AmFam Field. This weekend, dropped the first 2 games against Miami. Got to have Sunday. Got down early, rallied, won the game, scoring 2 runs in 3 separate innings, and got the job done. But, you look at this weekend, Saturday's game, bullpen meltdown, Jared Koenig and Peguero, they struggled because I thought Savale threw the ball well. I'll take the 5 1/3 and 2 earned runs from Savale on Saturday night. Friday, Freddie Peralta put him in an early hole, 5 runs over the first 2 innings. And again, in both of these games, the Brewers could have scored some runs. Scored 3 runs Saturday night, 2 runs on Friday night. They explode for 6 on Sunday and get terrific bullpen help. But it's obvious that they're going to need to put all the pressure on this pitching staff because we've come too far. And without Christian Yelich in this lineup, this team is so dependent on this pitching staff. Colin Ray to pitch well against the Braves. We're going to get to the Braves coming up here in a little bit. And with Devin Williams, man, was I encouraged watching Devin Williams throw the baseball on Sunday. I was sitting behind home plate. I had great seats. And so I'm sitting there. And one of the benefits of that is watching. When you sit that close, you marvel on just how great these guys are. You sit up close, you think, man, how are they hitting those pitches? How are they getting around on that? How are these pitchers bringing it like they are? And Devin Williams, I've sat behind home plate before, and yeah, I marvel at Williams. But man, Sunday, he was popping the mid. It had that special pop in the mid. And then I looked up, during the game, he was throwing 98. He looked fresh. He looked ready to go. Well, healthy. He's back from those back fractures that he had. Stress fractures that he had. That he tried to pitch through in spring training. But he took his time this time around, and he looks healed, ready to go. He looks fresh. Like the Brewers got themselves an all-star closer at the trading deadline. Let's hope that's not the only thing they've acquired here so far. We got some time yet, about 48 hours on this. But I'm encouraged. Yeah, Williams threw 24 pitches on Sunday. But don't look at that. I'm looking at the way the ball was moving, the popping of the catcher's mitt, hitting 98 with his fastball. Man, I was encouraged with Devin Williams. Boy, was I encouraged. I felt great. Now, I love it. McGill and Williams, we got that 1-2 punch in that bullpen. We got it, man. That is, and everybody else drops down. I'll take McGill and Williams at the back end. That's one of the best back ends in baseball. And I'm not BSing you. I love it. If Williams is throwing like that, bringing the heat like that, and the movement on his pitches, the airbender, man, I'm telling you, the Brewers are set up nicely for 8-9. Now, what I'm concerned about, obviously, Christian Yelich, there's some ray of hope that he's going to come back this year. There's some ray of hope. He's avoiding surgery for now, may ultimately need it, but they're going to try to rest and rehab that thing and get him back. I'm not holding my breath, but let's face it, the pressure in the heart of this lineup right now falls on the 20-year-old kid, Jackson Chourio. Homered on Sunday, and he's one of the better bats in that lineup right now. Let's face it. That kid has grown up quickly. He's played through a few things. He's played through getting pinch hit for early in the season. He's gone through a few of those things. He's got some tough love. He never got sent down, and he's ready to go. I think Jackson Chourio, a lot to ask of a 20-year-old in a pennant race, but let's face it, this is where we are. Jackson Chourio in the heart of the lineup, batting third. A lot is on this guy, and we'll see if he can deliver. I'm telling you, he's acting like a 10-year pro out there. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way he's doing that, but he belongs. He more than belongs. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching him. Had a couple of deep can of corns, long fly balls on Sunday as well, but he crushed one. Right center field for a home run. But with Yelich out, of course they're going to need other guys in this lineup to pick it up as well. You know, they're obviously you need everybody, but you need that one stick in the heart of the order. And right now, I believe it's going to be Jackson Chourio that's going to have to carry this team. Offensively, he's going to be the man who's going to have to lift them. But dropping 2 or 3, not fun. You move on. You got the Atlanta Braves, but encouraged with Devin Williams, rested, refreshed, and throwing 98 on his fastball. All right, the trading deadline is going to be here. All quiet for the Milwaukee Brewers. Shocking so far. We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. And the Braves. The Brewers are going to get to know the Braves a lot here in the next 2 weeks because they have a series with them coming up at home this week, and they got to go to Atlanta next week. We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Stitch Fix. It's where a lot of us guys on Locked On get our clothes. You know, that instant confidence from getting on that new outfit. As soon as you put that new outfit on, you always feel great about yourself, don't you? It makes you really look good. And that's what you get from Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, size, and budget. They do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. Nobody's got time to go to the store. This fall, fashions, Stitch Fix has got it all. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that'll work for you. What might not work for me might work for you. What doesn't work for you might work for me. But it's style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started at stitchfix.com /MLB, and you're going to get $20 off your first Stitch Fix. That's stitchfix.com /MLB for $20 off. Stitchfix.com /MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of signup. Offer does not include the kids' fixes, but you know they have those as well. But if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, your stylist will personalize everything for you and send you the right thing so everything is on point for your clothes game. Get into the game with StitchFix.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. And the Brewers open up a 3-game set with the Atlanta Braves at AmFam Field as the 6-game homestand continues. 7-10 with that first pitch coming up on Monday night. You get it on SiriusXM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You're going to get all 162 of Brewers baseball. Thanks, everybody, for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every morning. Well, the trading deadline, the Brewers late Saturday afternoon, I got an alert on my phone. Brewers make a trade. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. A Rose Arena, Jazz Chisholm. Who is it going to be? Nick Mears. Not to be confused with the one-time NASCAR driver or Indy kart racer, I should say, Rick Mears. Nick Mears, bullpen, struggling in Colorado. Brewers make a minor move to get a reliever, Nick Mears, and they ship him down to AAA. Put him on the 40-man. But as far as anything else going on, they got less than 48 hours on this trading deadline. There is nothing going on in the rumor mill. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. There's some reports that the Brewers might be dangling Garrett Mitchell out there as trade bait. We'll see what with Yelich down. We'll see if that's really possible. But that report was out there this weekend that Mitchell could be one of the things the Brewers could be trading. How about the Cubs? The Cubs shifting gears and trading Christopher Morel mid-game. He got the news on Sunday, and they traded him to Tampa for their all-star third baseman Paredes. I thought that was a good move for the Cubs. I thought it was a real good move for the Cubs. But so far, doesn't appear the Brewers, but that obviously that could change. But in the rumor mill, I didn't hear anything over the weekend. Nothing. But that doesn't mean that can't change. Josh Bell, I put this out there on Twitter. We just saw this weekend. And there was a report that the Marlins put him on waivers. Requested waivers on him, but then they pulled him out. And teams will do that. Teams will do that to see what the trade value or if anybody's interested in their guy. But Bell apparently, we know he's on the trade block. Bell has played for everybody, I feel. Everybody at the Milwaukee Brewers. I feel he's a guy who's destined to play for the Brewers. But then you look at it, where's he going to play? Now he's not going to play first base. The Brewers got a glutton of those guys already. Although if Bowers is going to play left field, you might need another left-handed first baseman. Bell can also DH you, but you got a bunch of guys shifting into that hole because you got 3 catchers right now. So, but I like Josh Bell. I've heard some arguments against him that people feel too that Bell's going to come here and he's not going to be the Josh Bell that we see all these years playing with Arizona and Pittsburgh and Miami, just tormenting the Milwaukee Brewers. And he had 2 home runs over the weekend. But Josh Bell, if we could find a spot for him, I'd like him. God, I liked him when he was at Pittsburgh. I liked it with the Brian Reynolds and Josh Bell, that 1-2 punch for a while, and I still love Brian Reynolds. But Bell, the Brewers would not offend me if they acquired that guy somehow. Would not offend me. And I know some of you guys were like 50-50 on him, and I get it. But he's got 14 homers on the season. I would love to see Josh Bell in the left-handed batter's box for the Milwaukee Brewers, playing pepper with the second deck at AmFam Field in right field. I would love Josh Bell here. All right, the Braves are here. Now, business steps up with the Braves. Brewers have played last 3 homestands, the last 3 series at AmFam Field. As I mentioned, 3 bad teams. Pittsburgh, Washington, and Miami, and the Brewers have dropped 2 or 3 in all 3 of those. And now the Braves are coming in. But the Braves are here. The Braves just won the final 2 games of their series against the Mets. But before that, they had a 6-game losing skid, which was their longest in 7 years. Imagine, that was their longest losing streak. The Braves, a 6-game skid that was ended on Saturday. Their bullpen had been pitching well. But they're on the trade market as well. You hear that Crochet and Robert from the White Sox, rumors that they're hot onto them, but they're missing Fried and they're missing Spencer Strider out of the rotation. We're going to see a man by the name of Grant Holmes from the Braves pitching on Monday. He's a bullpen guy. They don't know how long he's going to pitch. I was reading a quote from Brian Snitker, and he said, I don't know how long he's going to pitch, but he's been stretched out. He's gone longer than 3 innings out of the bullpen, but he's going to make the start. I believe this is his first start of the season. But on a number of occasions, he's in 5 of his 10 appearances, he's gone 3 or more innings. But he's a bullpen arm. This would be a guy who the Brewers hopefully can attack. And who knows, maybe he's going to pitch a couple of innings and they do the old bullpen by committee because they're down a couple of guys. Colin Ray makes the start. But hopefully they can jump on him. They're going to see Chris Sale on Tuesday. I don't have to tell you that you know how good Chris Sale is. He's 13-3, coming off a terrific performance last week, Chris Sale, against the Mets. And the Brewers right now listed at TBA for Tuesday. That is probably going to be Bryce Wilson, I would say, with an opener, and then Bryce Wilson. That would be my guess. And then Wednesday for the afternoon game on getaway day, Charlie Morton against Freddie Peralta once again. Matt Olson is starting to heat up for the Braves. He is struggling for most of the season. He's batting .227, but in the last 5 games, he's 7 of 20 with a couple of home runs. So the Mets kind of lit Matt Olson kind of lit up the Mets pitching staff a little bit this past weekend. So not good news that Matt Olson is on fire. And, of course, Orlando Arcia going to be here and all that, and the Braves got a good lineup. It's a good team, obviously, coming in. Underachieving, I thought. But the Braves, I mean, they're not going to catch the Philadelphia Phillies in the division. I don't think that's going to happen at all. The Phillies are going to win that division. But, you know, they're 8.5 out. But the Braves are in the wild card chase with San Diego and the Mets. They're all within a half a game or a game of each other. And then Arizona and St. Louis in the mix. There is a hotly contested wild card chase. And the Brewers could very well see these guys in the postseason. I would not want to see the Braves. I would not want to see the Braves in the postseason. Braves right now at 56-48. They are better than that. They just haven't gotten going this year. They have not got going. They have struggled. Like I said, they lost 6 in a row. It was like 8 of 11. Then they won their final 2 games, including on Sunday in go-away fashion, beating the New York Mets. Hopefully, that doesn't mean the Braves are catching fire here. But the Brewers will have them 6 times over the next 2 weeks. And hopefully the Brewers do not need a Braves team that's catching fire. But, you know, you look at the Brewers right now. Hey, again, they stopped that 2-game skid over the weekend. They won on Sunday. But I am just worried about the bats. I think that's the ultimate doom. And without Christian Yelich, and don't hold your breath that Yelich is coming back anytime soon. But that's a big loss for this team. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Ryan Braun. It was Ryan Braun Day. The Walk of Fame. They honored him, I believe the 21st member of the Walk of Fame. Did he really get the response, the pop from the fans that he deserved? We'll get to that next, coming up on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. SupplyHouse.com. Get supplies from a site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com, the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right every single time. Shop a complete inventory, over 200,000 parts, over 400 top brands, and get your order delivered right to your door. Fast shipping, coast to coast, and you need help with an order, well, their expert customer service is going to be helping you every single time you'll talk to a real person. You're not talking to some animated guy. You're talking to a person every time that you talk to SupplyHouse.com. Pros in the skilled trades, you can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trademaster program. Every Trademaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M. Order plumbing, HVAC, electrical supplies from everywhere and anywhere with a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Enjoyed meeting some of the great Brewer fans out at AmFam Field this weekend. And Ryan Braun made an appearance back. And we know Ryan, we know the history there. We know there's good. And we certainly know there was bad. Okay, there's some bad moments. None of the bad was mentioned at the ceremony of Sunday. I get that. And the Brewers did a nice job. You know, they paraded some of their former players out there. Bob Uecker, obviously the great Brewers broadcaster, Mark Antonassi, everybody was out there honoring Ryan Braun, one of their all-time greats, into the Walk of Fame. I think the Brewers make a little bit bigger deal of the Walk of Fame But this is their deal. They delayed the game by 35 minutes to do this. Like Bronny's number was being retired, which I'll get to in a second here. But they showed the highlights, and I thought when Ryan Braun was introduced to the crowd when it was his turn, I thought it was a mild applause. I didn't think it was a one of those for Braun. It wasn't a huge welcome back for him. Now, the Brewers did it was a nice ceremony. I'm not taking away from that. It was all cool and everything. But I thought Euchre got a bigger, when they mentioned Bob Euchre a couple of times, and Braun called attention to Euchre one time, I thought Euchre got bigger pops from the crowd than Ryan Braun. Is it just me? I mean, let me know in the comments section. Let me know on Twitter. But I thought the fans were a little lukewarm on Braun and did not give him maybe the response that I thought. I thought there'd be a little bit more than that. And of course, Braun, big moments. When I think of Ryan Braun's career with the Brewers, big moments. And they mentioned him. We know it. 2008, 2011, 2019, the home run in St. Louis, the Cubs, you name it. The Brewers, he's been in the heart of a lot of big moments of the Brewers. And I thought in the 2018 playoffs, same thing there. I thought he was, he in the Dodgers series in Colorado, I thought he played well. I thought Bronny played well. So he was never one, there's some superstars that, and you could, however you want to call him, a superstar or not. For this case, I'll say superstar who kind of go in a shell in the postseason and you don't hear much from him. I never thought Braun was that. I always thought Braun came through in the big moments, but a little surprised that it was a mild reception for him and that Euchre actually got the biggest pop of the night. Euchre's always going to get a big pop, but he got a bigger pop than Ryan Braun. Couple of things I was surprised. No Prince Fielder. Not even a video from Prince Fielder at the ceremony. A little surprised at that. Not even a video, but because they showed videos on the scoreboard on people who couldn't be there. No video from Prince Fielder. And there was no video from Craig Counsell. And I get that because there probably should have been a video from Craig Counsell because Counsell managed him. He played with Counsell. And Counsell managed him. Okay? Counsell was the manager in that 2018 team. Okay? No message from Counsell. I thought we'd see something now, but you know why? Because the obvious here, because what are they going to do? They're going to show Counsell's statement, making a little video on the scoreboard, a selfie video on the scoreboard like the other players had up there, and the crowd's going to boo. And they're not going to have that on Braun's moment. So that is probably the why Counsell, I bet you, was talked about, and then they realized, well, I remember on Memorial Day when we showed a video of Counsell's highlights and welcome back to AmFam Field, Craig Counsell, and the fans booed rather loudly. They were not going to show a Counsell video on Braun's moment on Sunday. Is he going to get into the Hall of Fame? No. And I don't think his jersey is going to get retired. You look at everybody up there, everybody whose jersey's retired at AmFam Field, everybody who's hanging up there from the rafters, everybody's in the Hall of Fame. Braun's not in the Hall of Fame, and Braun will not get his jersey retired by the Milwaukee Brewers. He would be the first one, if he gets retired, to not be in the Hall of Fame, because I don't think Bronny is going in the Hall of Fame. All right, that's going to do it. Hey, you get our show on wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcasts, we are there. Please subscribe and mark the alerts that alert you every time we drop an episode on all those podcast platforms. And please go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers. We have the video version. If you're listening to the audio version, please subscribe to the video version as well. Go to Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. A lot of you guys comment on Twitter. You comment on the comment section on YouTube, which is great. I read them all. First thing I do is when I get up in the morning, I pull my Twitter account up and I pull YouTube up and to read what you all have to say. Your comments, because I see you guys, some of you everydayers out there, same people, a lot of people coming up and watching this video and commenting and taking us through the 162 game schedule. We are doing that here on Locked On Brewers. And all you guys, you're there in the offseason, and you're there with me right now. Brewers are in first place, guys. Gotta have a good showing against the Braves. I'm a little worried that they're heating it up right now, the Braves, after going through a little bit of a slide there for the last week and a half. But hopefully the Brewers can get things back together and take care of business on Monday night and set the tone for this series. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We'll see you here late Monday night after Game 1 against the Braves. So long, everybody. Have a great Monday.